How's it going, everybody? This is Steve. Welcome to my channel. You must know the name of the channel because you found it. But it is called Still Working It Out, Life on the Road. And this might be the first video where I won't bother to explain what that means, but Still Working It Out, Life on the Road with Steve Underwood. That's me. So, we just got back to Iowa, where I live. My house is in Clinton, Iowa. And we were in Baton Rouge. I mean, I went back up north to Iowa. My wife was still down there. I took care of some business that I had to deal with. And then I missed her too bad because I've been gone for like a month. And then I went back down to Baton Rouge. And I don't know if I made a video about this, but it was like the last week we were going to be there, and we were just that morning. The next morning we were going to get up. It was after 4th of July, and the next morning we were going to get up and start packing the house, and then load the car and the cats. We have 2 cats, and going to shoot up north. Except the very next morning after 4th of July, so it's the 5th of July, I woke up to the sound of rushing water. It sort of sounded like a trickle, but it was rushing water, and our water heater in our apartment had burst and was from the hole in the bottom of it was flowing as quickly as it possibly could, which was very quickly. And before we got it under control, there was about 2 inches of water in our entire apartment. The cats were uncool with that, by the way. They really felt like this was death time, like it was going to continue to rise, and they had never ever wanted to be that close to that much water before. So, and honestly, I love water, but I felt the same exact way when I saw all my shit in the water getting soaked. Anyway, so it was elbows and assholes, balls to the walls, combat, kung fu fighting for the next 2 days to get out of that Bermuda Triangle and into another apartment and square our shit away and then pack all of our stuff. And I'm traumatized. So anyway, got out of there and finally concluded our business in Baton Rouge after about 7 months, and headed north. And my wife had a family reunion. So between Baton Rouge and Clinton, Iowa is Branson, Missouri, where we stopped for my wife's family reunion. She has one of these really big families where her mom had there's like 12 kids in their family. So it's like lots of extended cousins, all that kind of stuff. Everybody stopped there. You'd think, and it was a really nice resort. It was called Ozark Mountain Resort. Very nice resort. Absolutely horrible management company, and I can say that with authority because that's what I've done most of my life, is participated in various levels of property management. And the property management company that they have renting out these, it's like a giant collection of Airbnbs, except that it's one resort. That, like I say, it's a beautiful place, but they've got just absolute morons running that place. And they're nice on the phone and stuff like this, but they absolutely have no idea how to do their jobs. And they turned what would have been like a fun 2-day thing, and kind of expensive but fun, could have been fun, into an absolute nightmare. So my wife got to enjoy the family reunion, but I did not. I was stuck kind of holding the bag and doing all the work and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's for the next 2 days. I got to hang out with her family for about, 20 minutes. And that was about it. They're normally fun reunions. They have one every single year. My family are kind of more separated and strewn around the country. And apparently we're all pretty much okay with that. We live our own lives. And I grew up in a house with 5 kids. She grew up in a house with 2 kids, but they have a way bigger family than mine. So it's interesting. Anyway, so all that for the last, week and a half has been just shitty. And then Karen and I got home in Iowa. We were home for like, I don't know, a day and a half, and her mom with a minivan and packed with people, relatives, was heading up behind us, and her mom fell asleep while she was driving, and they crashed the fuck out of that minivan, totaled it, and broke her back. And she's almost 80, and hurt one of the cousins, not too badly, but she covered in blood and stuff like this, fat lip and bloody nose, that kind of stuff. So we drove back to the place where from home back to the place where that they wrecked, and now we're waiting at the hospital for like 2 days. And her mom's got to be transferred to a bigger hospital, and she may have to get spinal surgery to somehow repair a broken vertebrae. Just not cool. I mean, I'm not begrudging I'm not trying to equate the bad time before with this now, like blaming her mom or anything like that. I feel very bad for her. I would not want to be in that situation when I'm that age. That would not be cool. And my wife, in the last couple of years, has lost her dad, and now has had pretty traumatized from that, really. Even though she got to spend her whole life with her dad, and like I lost my dad when I was 19. He was 50 years old and all. But for her, it was even worse. She got to have him around for all those years, and so when he fell down, hurt himself, hit his head, and then a few weeks later passed, that's been real tough on her. Now with this, it's like kind of like waking up old scary times, like almost traumatic, like PTSD type thing. She's definitely got it worse than I do this way. I feel bad about it, but she's kind of ruined about it right now, and it's messing with the whole family that way. So this has been a very trying, I don't know, last week or two. Yeah, I'd say 2 weeks. So hey man, I don't know how your summer's going, but if your 4th of July was awesome, mine was actually pretty cool up until that moment, like the very next day. And then ever since then, it's been like swimming in diarrhea. And not even my own, which is bad enough to think about, but I imagine it's somebody else's. Anyway, so that's how ever since 4th of July, 5th of July to today, which is like, I don't know, the 13th, I think, maybe. Should I, 14th maybe, I don't know, I can't remember, has gone. But hey, it could be worse, right? So no matter what you ever run up against, I guarantee you, as bad as it gets, and I used to play that game I told you guys about before, that the people that worked for me, I would say, listen, it could get worse. And it got to the point where that they all wanted to challenge me one after another and come up with the worst shit that they could think of, and I could always come up with something that was worse. And the whole reason for that is that the most common reason we use it can get worse is there's people running around, it's not that we can see every day almost, that have it worse than we do. As bad as we have it that day, somebody has it worse, and they're functioning, So sometimes you just have to realize that, this too shall pass, and give yourself a little courage, Take some deep breaths, close your eyes, imagine being in a better situation, and steady yourself, and realize it's not just you that's hurting in the world, and there are people that are a whole lot worse off, and to find courage, and get through it. So by the way, lately I've been writing more on and then publishing this to Substack. It's under Steve Underwood. If you see me there, that's fine. If you're interested in reading some shit that I've written, there's no poetry. I'm not that kind of guy. My dad was kind of a poet, but I'm no poet. Mine has really just been almost, well, I try to get it as academic level as possible, but research on different things, and then put together really good citation pages. The whole point would be so that anybody can look up the sources that I found and see the claims that are made, and then they can go to everywhere I found my sources and see how good a quality they are, if they feel like they can be trusted. Because I really enjoy writing about things that I happen to know about or am really interested about, and then I do exhaustive research. But at the same time, I don't want to do that stuff just for me. I like to know those things, but I also want to save somebody else the time and effort. And my newest one, I've got 3 projects going on right now that way. My newest one is about AI and the future of AI, and I knew how I felt, I knew what I believed by what I've been seeing and stuff like that, but I wanted to dig deeper and see if I was lying to myself, or to understand the kind of a contradiction. Like, for instance, I knew it was bad, but it's 90% of people in America don't believe AI will be a good thing for society. 90% of people believe that AI will turn out to be a bad thing, and including a large percentage of technical people. People that think more in the terms that I do, like engineering systems, things like that. A pretty good chunk of people like that are under the belief that that AI is going to turn out badly, and I have kind of 2 unique perspectives that help me not see things that way. And one is, they're neither one are really necessarily a compliment, to be honest, to me anyway. One is that my fear mechanism has been destroyed long ago. I've never been smart enough to be scared of stuff, and because of that, I'm grateful in a way because of that. In some ways, it's cost me almost every joint I have. I don't know, I probably had 6 broken bones by the time I was 12. That kind of crap. I'm not smart enough to try to protect myself. And the biggest reason why so many people are terrified of AI and the future of AI is because of propaganda that's being put out. It's not all 100% propaganda. When I say propaganda, I mean a false narrative. And oftentimes when we say a false narrative, it's a false narrative, but it comes at you from 100 different directions, various kinds of sources. Some of them are just rants, and some of them seem to be extremely well educated and resourced and stuff like this. But they all have one agenda, and that is to pitch this thing to be scared of it, or to pitch this thing to want it, depending on what perspective you're coming from. And AI, the big push is to be scared of it, except that it's not. There are some people that are trying to direct public sentiment to be scared of AI, but that's not the overwhelming majority of the information out there. The biggest information that is scaring most people is that for some reason, because of movies like Predator and Terminator rather, sorry, different movie, Arnold movie, people anthropomorphize, which is really, really normal for us to put human emotions, the emotions we've grown up with from our time that before we could speak. We were learning to read people's faces, and and imagine, what they're thinking based on what we've ever experienced, right? And so we do everything from name our cars, and talk to them like they're a person, and talk to our pets like they're exactly like a person, kind of thing. When in reality, many of our pets are some of our pets are pretty sophisticated, but about the most sophisticated pet is still about a 5-year-old. human being's level of intelligence. And that's a damn near a genius pet right there. Karen's walking out, so I'm going to let you go. See you guys later. Have a great day. Don't give up on yourselves, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.